Shaila was not only a good mother, but she's a really savvy businesswoman. From the roots itself, it was you cannot have an excuse because you're a girl. I had to stay in a small room for almost 10 days at a stretch with a bucket of water coming in the morning to take a bath. You need to be around 25 to get engaged and married. Your favorite thing about Aman? He's a very dynamic and very intelligent boy. And Anant, extremely intelligent, patient, smart. And the biggest seva he's doing is of animals. In my 30s, I got a nervous breakdown. And one of my kakis sat next to me. Said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I don't think so." She said, in this new series of ours, we're paying a tribute to the wisdom of lived lives. It's going to be bridging a generation where women will come into this space to shape the lives of women for today and for tomorrow. I have with me Shaila Merchant. Shaila, who's a dear friend, she is family for me. I've known you, I think, since we were newly engaged, right? You were 18, I was 23. She actually came for my engagement. I remember that.
Yeah.
And we have traversed a long life, brink of 60, I'm over 60. And we've had babies together, we've raised them together, we've had all kinds of family get-togethers and events and holidays together. So Shaila and me go back a long way. For those of you who don't know Shaila, Shaila is a proud mother of 2 daughters, my nieces, Anjali and Radhika, whom she and Viren have raised together to be a part of their business legacy. Because Shaila was not only a good mother, but she's a really savvy businesswoman. Many of you will know Shaila as somebody who came into the public eye as the mother of Radhika, who married into the Ambani family here. But that is not what Shaila is all about. There is so much more to Shaila. She's not just a society woman. She's a trailblazer. She blends ambition with deep family values and cultural roots. She's warm, she's stylish. She's been a year for me. You know, we've confided in each other so many times about all sorts of things where she's helped me, I've helped her navigate through issues. We even talked about exchanging children at one time. She has 2 daughters, I have 2 sons, and we always wanted the others. I remember those days, We want to talk to you, Shaila, about how you navigated tradition and family and still ran successful businesses and how they went hand in hand. So welcome to her side of the story. Shaila, you began your career in construction, right? It's a male-dominated field. What was it like working in that field and your swan song working on the Sultan Qaboos Mosque in Oman? Can you take us a little bit through the journey? What prompted you to start in construction and how it went on?
So not many people know that I did my Arangetram after I got married. And then I was a teacher at Casa Bambino before I got into the construction world. Being in the construction world was tough as a woman. I went from sourcing the stone to carving the stone to exporting the stone. And it was really tough. I had to look after my 2 girls and go for all this. I would say that as a woman, if you have to travel like that, and I had a tough father. So even though I went through the Chambal Valley, I told him, "Papa, I'm scared." Or, "Bha, I'm scared." He said, "There's nothing to be scared about." He was the one who did not differentiate between a girl child and a male child. I think from the roots itself, it was like, you cannot have an excuse because you're a girl. You work your way through. And I had to send around 3,000 containers of sandstone to Oman, Muscat, carved by these lovely carvers in Manpur. They were sitting alongside Manpur, and we took them to the Manpur yard, and we rented that yard where they went chiseling away, and that sound of that chiseling I still remember.
For people who don't know, your roots in Oman, because
so my Khimji Ramdas family is almost 200 years old in Oman. My great-grandfather went from Kutch to Oman directly. So they had their base from then. And then, of course, my father has become a legacy there in the construction world, which now he's no more. We miss him a lot. Now the family continues to look after the business. My sister heads it.
You said that it was a tough time when you were traveling to Rajasthan and finding the stone and getting. Do you remember any experience? Like, what was something while you were doing it and you really felt like, what am I doing? Like, what was so tough about that period when you were there?
The toughest was in Manpur. I had to stay in a small room for almost 10 days at a stretch with a bucket of water coming in the morning to take a bath. No, not a proper loo, nothing. And from that room, I had to travel almost 10 minutes to the carving yard. So it was between Jaipur and Manpur that I had this small room. And that was really, really tough.
Talk to me about that. You were a woman in a godforsaken place, living in a small room, all by yourself. Were you not scared?
No.
Where did you get your courage?
I think that was inborn. And as I told you, when you have tough parents, you become tougher. So it did not matter to my dad that we were going through Chambal Valley. If you cannot be scared through that, you bloody well work.
Okay, so tell me, at all, did you ever feel that, why the hell did I agree, to do this?
Never. That experience got me stronger. And my father-in-law believed in a woman working. So I had both males who believed in women working. So never ever. It was the most beautiful running experience of my life.
You may not remember, Shaila, but the first time I met you when you came for my engagement, she was traveling with her in-laws. She was just engaged. She was 18. I was old and I was like, oh my God, imagine this woman traveling with her in-laws, not even her fiance with her. And you were on your way to Calgary to see Sudha Thakkar at that time. I'd studied in Calgary. Ramesh Thakkar, her husband, was my professor at university. We talked about that and
that's true. Oh my God, Monica. Yes, we go back then. Oh my God.
Yeah. That's why I was like, don't you remember your dance teacher? He used to be somebody I knew.
Yeah. But to talk again about my husband, patiently he accepted me wanting to do whatever I wanted to do in life. He was also growing up, He did not get his father's business on a platter. He had to work his way through. So he helped me, and that time my brother-in-law also, my husband, my sister-in-law, they all supported me for doing the Arangetram. In fact, my mom said, now that you're married, do you really want to do Arangetram? And I said, Mama, if I don't, then I don't get married.
Oh. So you were a strong woman back then.
Back then also strong. And she said, okay, fine, done.
So you got engaged at 18.
That's right.
Casting your mind back to that period, what did ambition look like to you when you were like 18 or 20? And what did freedom look like to you?
Getting engaged at 18 is a bit too early. You need to be around 25 to get engaged and married, because then you have seen little life through. In our Shastras also, there are 4 stages of life. And the married life comes at around 25.
Really?
Yeah. So if you live the 4 stages of life as per our Shastras, then there are perils you may face less. It's not like it's not going to be there. What's in your destiny, you can only alter through prayers. You are born with your destiny. Prayers help you to alter it slightly.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. 18 was a bit young.
So here's this other school of thought, because I remember questioning at that time, and somebody said it's a good thing because then she can be molded, not you, like, and
That's terrible.
it's like she can be molded into the family, and that's how then she will adopt our family values, was the excuse given in those days about women marrying young. But cut to today, Shaila, and you and I know it, we are surrounded by daughters and daughters-in-law and all that, who don't get married before they're 30 or close to 30, don't have their children to until their mid-30s. It was completely different for us.
So you're absolutely right. Their journey is going to have different perils. It's not like you don't go through perils. Whether you marry young, and for me, as I would tell you, that because I had such a progressive father-in-law and mother-in-law who did not interfere the way I ran the kitchen or whatever, I grew up in this house. So looking back, I'm glad that I married into this house early age. I still believe in getting married at 25. But I would say that they by 30, the body clock is, whether you like it or not, there. So today's generation, I would say around 25. Don't make it too late also.
I mean, we used to be told, have your first child before you're 30, because your body, it takes a toll. And now, at the wrong side of 60, my body is telling me, that I also left it too late. Did you think that your career would be in construction? Like, you just got into it because your dad asked you, or did you want to do it? Or did you think?
My dad didn't ask me. My husband went to my dad that my wife wants to work. Can you absorb her? And my dad said, yes, I will.
Okay, that's interesting, Shaila, because now you work with your husband, who started a pharmaceutical company, and you joined it much later.
Yeah.
So why did your husband not absorb you at that time?
So my husband's side of the story, just a bit, he comes from the Guar gum family. And the merchants, as they are called, it was one son from each family. So Viren had no base to start up from. He had no ready business. So poor guy, he will set himself up or try and give me something to do. It was not easy. So he knew my father was working. And he knew I was very ambitious. I've always been. And even till today, I'm ambitious. And that's why.
And you were a school teacher, so you didn't want to just remain a school teacher. You wanted to do something bigger.
Correct. So I was a school teacher, to be very honest, and to be I wanted my daughters in Casa Bambino.
That's a clever route for all these young girls who want to get into elite schools, become a school teacher, and so get into it.
I remember Mrs. Mama. I went and knocked on her door. I said, can I work for you, please?
You've done some amazing buildings. You really got a lot of experience in that field. So if you have to look back now, what was the biggest positive that you took away from being in the construction field? And I'd like you to say also as a woman.
Women create babies. And construction world is creation.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So still in my blood, I still have construction. I don't know now how I would ever get back to having at least 50% of a company with GRC, but never say never.
Yeah. But then using the same analogy that you just used, women create lives. And so construction is creating a building.
Yeah.
But you're in pharma now, where women nurture lives, and pharmaceuticals is about medicines that nurture and sustain lives. So maybe there is some synergy in both your professions.
True. So I like pharma now. It's a little, it's little support to my husband. I actually we sold Zig Pharma, which I went. I'll tell you, I became a part of because of my father-in-law. He said, "Why don't you join Zig Pharma?" My husband, of course, miraculously had created this beautiful factory, Zig, in Aurangabad. But no, at that time, he wanted to put up a US FDA facility for creams and ointments. So Viren wanted to raise some money, and I don't know how, with God's grace, somebody came to the office and nobody was meeting them. And I said, okay, come in. There was a team of two people, and they were able to get us money at that time, 15 crores from State Bank of India.
And so that's how you both started.
The US FDA plant. He had already put up the Zig Pharma plant, Viren, and the US FDA facility. Then, of course, Viren only put it up, but my work was where, as Lakshmi would come in, it came.
In your whole journey of being a mother, working, what kind of lesson do you think you've learned over the years?
Patience, I have learned. Everything pays, but patience is very important.
And give us an example of something where you had to own your patience.
When you start a company, there is profit, but you cannot spend, because the profit is going back into the business, back into the business, back into the business, until you sell your business. So I used to always tell Viren, and you as a woman, you like to spend money, right? So I used to tell Viren, I said, but what about bringing the money home? You're only thinking of your company, but what about giving out dividend or this thing? He said, not right now. And I used to always worry that how, because this mastermind of Viren, and then, of course, my support, we sold this Zig Pharma and realized a lot of money, which now that arm is what I'm an account student by profession. So I handle the money bit.
Okay, that's awesome. Your father-in-law, to some extent your husband, your brother-in-law, kind of coerced you and pushed you into working business. Is there anything that they told you to prepare you for what you were getting into?
No.
So everything was learned as you went along.
Yeah.
So if there's one lesson that you feel you learned, what's the most valuable other than patience? What's the other?
Patience is one and faith is the other. Faith is the other, definitely. And hard work, 3 things.
Being a very modern woman of the world, So how did you balance the two of it? And somewhere in between doing this balance or juggling act like all of us women do, did you ever feel like you lost yourself along the way? And if you did, what did you do to come back onto path again?
Yeah. So very young, I remember in my 30s, I got a nervous breakdown. And in that nervous breakdown, I had gone to Oman, and one of my kakis sat next to me. She said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I don't think so." She said, "Just start yoga. You won't believe it, but that is a game changer." So I was doing yoga 3 times a day.
A day?
A day. It took 1 hour. So 3 hours a day of yoga. And I promise you, it just made you center again. So it could be any form of exercise. It's that breathing. That at any age we have to do. And that is the answer. It could be any form of exercise, but something for yourself, that 1 hour for yourself.
And so you came back and rediscovered and you went on.
Correct.
Because a woman is the one who's the rock for her family?
My God, I believe that, of course, husbands are also rocks, but a woman makes or breaks a marriage unless it's something unforeseen that you cannot change.
I mean, we've known each other such a long time, right?
Yeah.
I knew that you did this GRC. I knew you were doing something, cladding, something. But I don't think we actually sat down and really talked about your work.
Yeah.
And it would be more about family and kids and that
Correct.
sort of stuff. Like, it was
Where we
a lot
needed
more
each
of a
other's
social
strength.
fabric that we talked about. And then, so Shaila, when she did the Sultan Qaboos Mosque, then you made this whole book and you sent me this book.
Correct.
And I went through this book and I was blown away because I had no idea that you did that, and that's why I thought it was so good because, Shaila, what we read about you and see about you, it's all, about this society person, and what you wear and how much you're worth, all that. But that is surface.
Yeah, correct.
Right? That is surface. There is so much depth. There is so much more to you, which is what through her side of the story, we want to bring out that what you see in a woman, go open the book and go into it and look and dig deep because there's so much more.
The inner has come out, which just now my mother told me that my father said, I know she's writing a book, but Kade Lakhdi in Kachhi. Kade Lakhdi means when will she write it? So can you imagine silently how proud he was?
Yeah. You're a Kachhi. How has it influenced you as a leader and you as a mother and a wife?
Okay. So, in 2021, there came a movie called Bhuj. And in that, the airstrip of Kutch got bombed out. And the planes had to land, or we would lose the war. The Kutchi women, and please see the movie if y'all can, got together and made that airstrip. So you can imagine the strength. And they had never worked. And that's a construction industry. So, you have certain things you learn along the way. Always never stop to be a learner. Never think you know everything. Never not carry the people with you. Never believe that you can do everything and nobody else can. Or you can do it, your husband can't. You can do it, your children can't. Always be a learner.
What have you taught your daughters, or what kind of value systems have you inculcated in them where they can balance high-profile lives along with being daughters, daughter-in-laws, wives, mothers, that sort of thing?
You cannot tell your child what to do. You can live by example. And, luckily both my girls want to live in a joint family because they come from a joint family. Today we are seeing joint family. You living with your husband is a big deal.
You lived in a joint family. This home of yours used to be a big house. Your father-in-law, his brother, his wife, their kids. This whole floor was completely the merchant home.
Yeah.
This whole building is a merchant building with every floor with all your families. Your kids grew up like that, The joint family system sustained you.
Correct. And the children just grow up. But it's tough for the women, Monica, if you don't have a place to go to your own.
And so when you talk about being a lived example, your girls saw that. They saw how you lived in a joint family and still you were, a close-knit unit.
Correct.
And luckily for them, they've gone into a joint family where they have their freedom to be private.
Correct.
And still live within a big family structure.
Correct.
So what's your biggest word of advice to your daughters, within their marriage system? Or
so I would say that biggest one would be patience. Again, I come back to patience.
What's your biggest worry for your daughters?
The tomorrow for my grandchild, the tomorrow. There's a lot of AI coming in, that, right? And I just tell the children that and grandchildren that don't be scared. Evolution is bound to happen.
Yeah, COVID was a real reckoner for all of us, isn't it? Yeah.
What did you do in COVID?
I was stuck in my little studio in Brooklyn,
Okay.
in New York, and I didn't get out for, I think, 100 days out of my apartment. I look back on it with nostalgia because I just feel like I learned so much about relationships and values and who meant what to me in my life, who was important and who was not important, and a lot of self-reflection. I think that most of us went through that. But sometimes when I'm in meetings with colleagues and stuff like that, you know, and we're ideating about something, then they'll say, oh, let's see what Chat GPT has to say. You talked about AI. It's the bane. Really, like, you know, something happens. Oh, WhatsApp University will tell you what to do, or Dr. Google will tell you what to do, or Chat GPT will tell you what to do. I miss those times where I would pick up the phone and ask my friend. I mean, we still do that, I think, in our generation.
Yeah. What do you think about AI? It's an inevitable, or it?
I mean, it is inevitable. And I'll tell you, as somebody who's a writer, it really scares me because I'm thinking to myself, you plug in everything and this AI gives you a ready-made solution. What is going to happen to the human brain? But I've had lots of discussions with people and they all say, at least in the near future, the one thing that AI cannot do is emotion.
Correct.
My dad was really ill before he died. My older son said, Dada, tell us your life story. And he started videoing my dad telling him.
Wow.
Is there something your girls have that you wish they hadn't inherited from you?
I hope they don't learn the impatience from mine. I hope both of them learn, and I'm telling it today, that I did not have the patience which I have today. So I'm telling them to have it.
But I meant something that they have from you that you wish they didn't have that. Like maybe they also like shopping for clothes. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's you need the place to keep it. So, you know, both of them have lives which have like a good life in which they both have going to have apartments to themselves in a joint family. So what should they not inherit from me? Yeah, let's let them not buy that many clothes because they have to put it away.
I like that.
Yeah.
But you know, the good thing is you have two daughters and they're sisters. They probably exchange clothes and share clothes a lot. And do you share clothes with your daughters? There's one thing, I have two sons. That's one thing I regret highly. That I never ever got to have a daughter with whom, you know, let's share clothes, let's go shopping together. Mama, you look so good in this, you know. What a wonderful feeling to have girls and to do that.
Funny thing you would say that, because the last time Anjali came to stay with me, she didn't carry her clothes only.
Think back to us, Shaila, as newly married people who were in traditional families with traditional values, you know, where we were daughters-in-law and all that. But when we went to our parents' home, how we felt, that comfort, you know, that feeling of I'm home. I can put my feet up and I can say, Pani lao, ye karo, wo karo. I'm not playing the role of the daughter-in-law anymore.
Correct. But as luck would have it and Nasib would have it, I was like that in Suwas.
These kids of today, they need to grow up much faster and know what they want much faster. We used to go down to play in the building, hide and seek and chore police, Shaila. Do these kids even do that? 7 tiles. Badminton, put up the thing and play badminton.
You won't believe Radhika plays badminton even today.
Really?
Yeah.
She's got that for dad.
She's got the games part in her. If she's doing nothing, she wants to play a board game.
Shaila, it's been wonderful talking to you. So I just wanted to end this whole thing with a rapid fire round. Tell me one quality that every woman leader should have.
Patience.
Board meetings or site visits?
Site visits.
Really? A book or a mantra that's influenced you?
My own book.
I know in your book you've put the khanjar and the chakra of the Indian thing as a bridging of the two countries. And here at her side of the story, we're talking about bridging generations, sharing stories from lived experiences that can be a message to the generations coming up. What's your go-to outfit when you need to feel powerful?
Of course, my night dress.
When you want to feel powerful.
Yes. Yes, because you're free.
What's a very auntie thing to say, but you will say it anyway, you don't care what people think?
The auntie thing to say is, don't do something.
Tea or coffee, and how do you take it?
I take both. Masala chai I love, and I take coffee also. Coffee black, masala chai with milk.
Your favorite construction material?
Stone. I love stone. I love stone. Over GRC also.
Okay, now this is a very personal thing. What do you like most about Viren?
Patience.
What do you like most about Anjali?
Patience.
What do you like most about Radhika?
The all-roundedness that she has.
Your favorite thing about Aman?
Again, he's a very patient person, a very dynamic person, and he is like a very intelligent boy.
And Anant?
Same. Extremely intelligent, patience, smart.
I remember once you told me how devout he is.
Oh my God. It's to a next level. And the biggest seva he's doing is of animals.
And your little baby?
Aryan. Aryan is a combination of everything. And not that he is my grandson, but he's a soul to reckon with. And I hope he grows up like that.
With all that you've told us about, and with the way that you've led your own life, I'm sure with a grandmother like you as a role model, he will. What's one message or guiding principle you hold close that you'd want young women listening to take away from your story?
What a nice question you're asking, because I always tell myself, what have I learned from my mother, or what have I learned from my grandmother? And what is that solid thing that they had, which I would like my girls to have, or what I should have, is to be strong from within. Just be very strong from within.
That's such a fantastic advice, because that's what keeps us together.
And don't lose yourself. Have that faith that things will happen.
Shaila, thank you so much for speaking with us. It's such a pleasure to listen to your side of the story. And
your side.
To some extent, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.